Hi, welcome to the side of the internet where we talk about all things creative, specifically creative project management. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, we hope you stick around for more. To our returning subscribers, welcome back, visionaries. We are so glad you're here. If you're a first-time viewer, thanks for joining. We hope you find this content valuable and you choose to join the group of the most fascinating people on the internet by hitting subscribe. In this video, we will be continuing our Visionary Diaries series by meeting with one of our visionaries, Miles, who used the Arrington method to plan an amazing hike. In previous videos, we talked about ideation and sculpting, so check those out if you haven't already. Today, we're going to be talking about discovering the vision. Let's get into it. Could you tell me how the vision turned out and what were some of the highlights?
Yeah, the vision turned out amazing. Also, nice to see you again, by the way. No, my vision turned out really as I pictured it. As I pictured it when I was moving through the different stages of the realms. It came out even better than I expected, actually. It was a really special hike with my friend. As I mentioned before in the last interviews, it was just it came out to be exactly what I wanted. It was all of the components I wanted were in there, apart from one slight little, hiccup that I had along the way. But apart from that, it was perfect. The goals I had set for myself in the project, they came out good as well. So I'm very pleased.
That's perfect. I'm glad to hear that everything came out the way that you wanted it to. So like during your discover realm, you have to prototype and explore. So since it was a hike, how did you prototype?
Well, yeah, it wasn't actually that hard. So in my Envision realm, when I was sculpting, I basically had the core ideas that I wanted, but I didn't know how to make them not happen, but I needed to link everything together and make it unified in one. So I had locations, for example, on the hike, I had locations where I wanted to go, I had spots I wanted to see, but then linking it together to become a hike, creating the actual path, that's where prototyping came in, because I knew where I wanted to go. I knew, I want to stop here with raw, and I want to stop here, and I want to stop there. So it was just taking these spots that I had in mind and just sort of connecting the dots. And it was the same, I planned some food for us at sunset. So I also, I knew what kind of food we wanted, but in the prototype, I was trying to, I figured out recipes, and I added, I built on the sculpt phase I had.
Did you come across any unexpected information while you were exploring, or how was the explore stage?
In the explore stage, it really got me closer to actually achieving the goal. So you start off in Envision and you're sort of dreaming with your ideas, but in Explore you actually start to do and come up with the do's, and that was kind of unexpected. I didn't expect it to come out that easy. I knew the idea was there, and I knew that there were components to it, but I didn't know once you actually get into the works, it actually starts coming out. You can, it's almost like a painting. You see it slowly coming together. You see it, slowly growing into something beautiful, which I thought was really cool. It was probably the most special part about, the whole experience. I mean, I loved prototyping, and then exploring afterwards. It kind of helped you fill in these cracks from the prototype when you explore. So you're there were little gaps here and there that I was missing, and little, things I didn't really think about too in depth, or I didn't think in advance. And while exploring and discovering, I found those out. I found out those challenges, and I was able to sort of fix them and reiterate them. All this.
Yeah. So you were able to find little areas where you didn't think about them before while you were exploring, and it also came from your prototype, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
Oh,
so it
that's
all,
real.
it all kind of comes from the prototype. You see it happening, you're starting to build on everything, and
Hmm.
then you're saying, that didn't really make sense here. It doesn't fit, or that, and it really starts. Yeah, it makes you get really close to like the do and actually starting, and it helps. Yeah, it just helps the whole process. I love prototyping.
So when you were prototyping and exploring, did you use any specific tools like to help you to get through those stages, or did you just go
No,
with
well,
your thought?
I just I just sort of used the model itself. So I had the model by my side, I had the model by my side and the questionnaire by my side at all times. But for prototyping, it was really looking at the components I had from my sculpting phase, and then I just kind of
Mhm.
made everything connect. And that I didn't use any specific tools or anything. I just had the model by my side and said, you can do, if you want to prototype, you should do it like this and like this. I was just kind of building off the model.
I was curious about the tools that you used for this specific creative project because, like, with you planning a hike, and I'm sure you didn't take things with you, like you didn't take your probably a map or like all the places you wanted to go. You probably just remembered them all and then followed the plan that you came up with, right? Or what was your
Yeah,
process? Like, what was your process?
yeah. I mean, I did have my journal by my side for the route, and actually to make sure that I basically created a list when I was out there. But I didn't really need the list because during during the realms I got so close to my project and I understood it so well. So when it came time to actually do, I didn't really have to think about it that much. I just got to I just got to experience the hike and enjoy it. So the process there was I wrote a list, but I didn't even use it. I just understood
Mhm.
I just completely understood my project as a whole and what I wanted from it. And since I had been working on it, I kind of understood where I was going to go and how I was going to link everything up. So it ended up being pretty simple actually in the end, because you don't have to put
Mhm.
too much thought or effort into it afterwards once you've actually finished the realms.
Yeah. So when you were going through this process, I know we talked in the previous like videos and previous times we met about how you were able to go through the entire model and get your plan together and actually execute your project in about a week, was it? Like a
Yeah.
week? Yes. So how did you stay inspired throughout the time where you were planning, and like how did you stay motivated and inspired?
I I loved my project. That was like one of the biggest parts of the model. You stay inspired because the model actually kind of pushes you to be inspired about your project. It wants you to be inspired about your project. It's that's almost the whole point of the model. I think it keeps you inspired. It keeps you wanting to work on your project. There's a place for your project to live. There's a space, and there's a methodology behind it. So it really kind of pushes you work with the model, and honestly the model kind of just inspired me. Just being able to do a project inspired me. So I thought that was really cool. I don't know.
I think that's cool too. Like definitely having that excitement and passion for your project. I think that's a great thing to make you stay motivated and inspired, and I think it's awesome that that's what was the main motivator for you and main inspiration too. So, I just had a couple more questions. So, were there any hard decisions that came up during this time where you like had to cut things out or anything?
yeah I, yeah, I had to modify a few things. I was gonna order like a camera for us, like one of these cameras, disposable cameras, so we could take photos. Where we have loads of photos on this trail where we used to go to, like from the past. from back in the day when we were little kids. And I thought, oh, let's get a disposable camera, go around, take photos in those old spots and all this kind of. But unfortunately, it never arrived. It didn't arrive in time, since I had such a short time frame. That didn't arrive, and then I was thinking of doing like a scavenger hunt or a trivia game, and I couldn't do that either. And it wasn't that I couldn't do it either. I just didn't. I didn't think it really fit the purpose of the hike. So I kind of scrapped that. Not everything came out to like 100% perfection, but I think that's kind of what made it perfect and special. It was like at the end, it was kind of like, oh, we just got to enjoy our time together, and we had a nice hike, and we had everything planned, and just the time that the times we weren't taking photos or anything or spending on scavenger hunt, we got to spend it together and just kind of having fun and enjoying our time.
Yeah, that's so good to hear. So I have one final question for you, and that is, what advice do you have for someone who is either currently in the Discover realm and they're prototyping or exploring, or they're about to start prototyping?
What I'd say to them is, when you're prototyping, take your components and really think about them and really plan out what you want. So like for me, I had to make a meal. I made some like wraps with chicken in them, and I'm not a great cook, so I had to, I had to find out the recipes for these kind of things. And what I was saying before is I knew where I wanted to go, but I didn't know how to connect the things. So really, it's like prototyping is really about planning and looking at your project from a few different angles, and then exploring is like making sure you find those gaps, or at least ask yourself questions, look at things from different perspectives, and you'll find gaps. And that's, once you find those gaps, it's easy to fill them and it's easy to fix them. So that's what I would say you should do. You should just really take a big kind of like an overview look of what you want, look at it from many angles, and it will come out. Your prototype will come out if you ask yourself enough questions, if you sit down with it enough, if you plan enough. It's gonna come out. It'll happen.
Yeah, that's really great advice. Thank you so much, Miles, for having us chat. Thanks so much for talking to us again about discovering and the Discover realm. I think Discover realm super fun part of the model, because you're
Very
actually
true.
like getting to see your ideas and how they may look in real life, and that's really exciting. So
It is exciting.
we will see you again soon, and thank you so much for joining.
Oh, my pleasure always. Thank you so much.
We hope you're enjoying the Visionary Diaries series and that today's episode was illuminating. As always, we have some awesome resources for you in the description below. Leave a comment of encouragement for Miles as he embarks on new projects. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay sparked.